this video, I'll demonstrate how a CSV file can be used to import batches of DXF files into iGEMS and into the organizer module. So if you're not familiar with the organizer module, iGEMS has a couple of nice videos on their website. So you can go to YouTube, search for iGEMS. So once you're on their site here on YouTube, if you go to videos, and then click on the little search button here. And here's a video about parts organizer. And then there's also a video about, there's a similar organizer feature for tracking sheets. So we'll take a look at the parts organizer. So if you want to test out what I'm going to show here, you can go to our kulu.waterjet.com wiki page. So just type that in, bring you to this page, and then up here in the top right hand corner of the wiki page, just start typing in iGEMS. Once you type in letter I, you should see iGEMS at the top of the list here. If this isn't showing up, then you may not have access to this page. You can contact me and I can email you the files that you'll need. But if you can get to this page, then scroll down a bit. 5.15 CSV to organizer, and if you click on this link here, bring you to a Google Drive location, and you can download this as a zip folder here. And we're going to take this and we're going to copy this into our shared folder. So I'll just do a copy. And easiest way to get to your shared folder, if you just go back to iGEMS, CAD tab, system submenu, shared folder, and then we're going to put this under the apps subdirectory here. So just double click on that, and you can right click and paste that zip folder in there, and then we'll go ahead and we'll extract that, and we'll extract that under the apps folder. So now you'll have this subdirectory under the app folder here, and in there is this CSV to organizer LSP file, LISP file. So this is what runs in the background when you run this app. That will basically open up that CSV file, look at the information in the CSV file, go out to wherever the DXF files are saved, import them, create parts out of them, and then put them into the organizer. So let's take a look at the CSV file, what one will generally look like. So this is a typical CSV file. These can be customized based on the information that you want to bring into iGEMS. Generally, you'll have a column that'll have the part name, column of where the DXF files are stored, column on the material. So if you're going to do this, we're going to add this material into our material database, so make sure you take note of the spelling of that material. Standard column, this is just tells iGEMS to use the standard version of that material. And we've got a column here for thickness, so these parts are all in millimeters, so you want to make sure iGEMS is in millimeters when you do this. Quantity, you can have a column for due date. You can have a column for something like a purchase order number or customer identifier. And then we've got columns here for default quality, inside, outside, and other. And you can also have things like a column for if you have both water only and abrasive machines, you can specify that. A couple of the columns in here are not default columns that you'd typically have in the iGEMS organizer. Something like due date is a custom column here. So to add a column like that in this script file that we looked at briefly earlier, scroll down a bit. You can use lines like this to add additional columns into the organizer if you need them, and then we'll have to go into the organizer module and add those columns into the view that we'll see here in a moment. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to switch to metric. And I'm going to go into my material database, and I'm going to add that new material in there, and we're doing water only. So let's go ahead and add a material. So we'll go top level of this foam here, add a new material. And we'll add a couple thicknesses in here. So if we want to add a thickness, click down onto the thickness level, click on the plus. And I'm intentionally gonna leave one of these out for right now. And we'll click on OK. OK. And now we need to add that app. We can add that to our apps tab. So click on load app and then add. So bring you to that app folder we were in. You'll want to go into the CSV to organizer subdirectory. Double click on this file. And then if you want, you can add an image to the toolbar. And before we do our import, we have to add that custom due date column to our organizer. So we'll go back to CAM and click on organizer icon here. So click on this little gear down here. This shows all of the default columns that are in organizer. And then the user variables tab can be used to add new columns. So we'll click on add and we'll add due date. And this is a date field. And OK. And we'll close that. Okay, now we're ready to import our files. So we've got our apps tab. Click on our new icon. Choose the machine that we're using. Double click on that CSV file. Because I didn't have the 30mm thickness in my material database, we've got a couple items that failed here. You can click on this open button and show us that those two failed because that 30mm thickness was not in our material database. So that script will look at and see if the material exists, if the thickness exists, if the DXF file is there. If it fails for any of those reasons, it'll flag that. So let's go ahead and add that thickness to our database. And just so we get a look at the clean import, we'll just delete all those. And let's go back and import again. So now no issues. And we go back to our CAM tab and into organizer. Got those files we just took in. Down here at the bottom, you got different ways they can filter down this list. The items here that have the asterisk start and end, those are default ones that iGEMS has set up that you can't modify. Or if you do try and modify them, you can't save them. You can set up your own filters down here to show whatever columns that you want to have here. So for example, this show all is one that I've set up with these columns. If you want to edit the columns that are shown here, you can click on the little edit profile button here, click on visible columns. And if you want to show, for example, that new custom due date field that we had in our CSV file, I can check that box there, click on OK. So that'll add that. If you click on the header column, you can move these around depending on where you want that to show up here. You can click on these header columns to sort by the items that are in that column. And then any changes that you make, click on the save button, make sure you save that. At this point, we'll go ahead and nest. We'll close out of here, go to our nesting tab, auto nest down at the bottom, prompts us select parts. I'm just going to hit enter. Select sheets, so we'll hit enter, go into our nesting area here. We've got this icon here that'll open up organizer. And if you set this to the insert with the asterisk start and beginning, it'll show you just the material and thickness that you currently have selected. And if we want all those parts, can use this little checkbox down here to select them all, and then insert. So we've got our parts. Let's give it a sheet size. And we'll nest. And we'll stop and OK. It's got our nest. We'll put a toolpath on there. We'll set our 0 point. So once you've cut this and you want to let organizer know that these parts are done, you can click on the register icon here, drag a box around the sheet, click on register, and if we click on show all, so those are the items that we just nested and cut, so those are done. And that's how you can import DXF files using a CSV file. If you have any questions on that, let me know. Thanks.